Hi, this is Sam here. The other day I posted up on Perth Drummers on Facebook just a picture of my setup and what I'm doing in my recording studio here. And Marcel asked me, have you got any recordings of this setup? I'd love to hear what the mix sounds like. So I thought, rather than just dump a bunch of audio files, I'll do a little video and I'll do a little, this is my first kind of one of these, so we'll see how we go. So the idea is just to go through each microphone individually and then see how it fits in the mix and just about how I go about getting my drum sound, I suppose. So this is pretty general kind of drum sound. There's nothing too ridiculous on here. But anyway, let's get into it and we'll see how we go. Okay. Oop. Okay, so I'm going to solo everything, and so some of the drums have got two microphones on them. So for instance, the bass drum here, I've got a Beta 52A inside it and a Rode NT2 I think on the outside. So let's solo just the internal one. Now the external one. Now both of them together. Okay, moving along to the snare drum. So on my snare drum I'm using a Rode M3. I just switched it over from the standard Shure SM57 because I just wanted something a little bit brighter. I thought the 57 was a little dull kind of sounding. So here's the snare drum by itself. And I use an SM57 on the bottom of it. So we'll do the top first by itself. And the bottom. When I start actually playing the snare, here it is. Both together. Okay, onto the hi-hats. And that's a Lewitt condenser mic. I can't remember what it's called, but nothing too fancy. It's got good thing about it is it's got a high pass filter, so it takes out all the low end that you don't need. It's got a pad on it as well. I think it might be on minus 10 dB, I think. And I pound that all the way over to the right. And they're 16-inch Peisty hi-hats of some description. I forget what they are as well. Okay, onto the toms. And maybe I'll sorry, I had some gates on there. I'll take those gates off. We'll go back to the start actually, where I go around them. Okay, next one is a little ribbon mic that I got from a place in Melbourne. I think it's called OPR. It's just a mono ribbon mic. Nothing too expensive, but I put that there underneath. So that's it there. It's underneath the ride symbol. I call that the ride mic. It's almost like a little secret weapon, that microphone. I've seen a lot of people do it, of course, but yeah, it kind of just picks up the whole kit from there. It's quite nice, quite nice. Okay, onto the overheads, which I put in as a stereo channel. Can't really see it in the video there, but they're so I don't XY them, that is to say. And again, they're the OPR ones. I think that's what it's called, OPR, and they're just small diaphragm condenser mics. Nothing too expensive. I think probably about $600 a pair. But, yeah, they work well. Now onto the room mics, which I've got probably about 5 or 6 meters away. And they're just Rode NT1s. I've got 2 of them again set up as a stereo pair, and I've got them actually facing away from each other, kind of facing the side walls almost, so facing there and facing there. So that's something you can muck around with anyway, but I tried to get a little bit of width and that out of them. Okay, now everything together. And if you wonder how the faders are moving by themselves without the mouse, it's I go put everything through an Allen & Heath Q32 desk, and I've got it set up so I can control Logic here with the faders on the desk. Pretty cool. Okay, back up again. So if I take the room out a little bit. Push up this ride mic. And heads up again so you can hear the room kind of coming into it a little bit more. Now, what I've also got is, you'll see over here, drum auxiliary and a space auxiliary. So I've got them both muted at the moment. So with this auxiliary track here, and what I mean by that is you see all these bus ones, so the whole kit is going into this channel here. And I use the Stephen Slate plugins, and that's just got an equalizer on it, so I'm just kind of pushing a little bit of high end up, taking out any of that low end rumble. So just basically pushing a little bit of the highs up, a little bit of the lows there as well, just on the entire kit. So turn that on and see if it makes any difference. Yeah, you can hear straight away it gets a little bit brighter. Which you may or may not like, depending on what kind of music it is. Yeah, so you can hear that. Kind of brings out the ride cymbal, brings out the cymbals a little bit more. So leave that on, and I can turn that up or down to kind of. Okay, and here's the next one, which I call space, and this is basically a reverb in there, artificial reverb, because of course we don't all have big, massive, big cavernous rooms. But anyway, here we go with the space. And you'll see that I've only got, I think, maybe the snare drum, the snare drum and the room mics and that ride mic going into that, and depending on how much I want. So the room mic actually is all the way up, so if I unmute that and just have the room mic, but I try to get a sound without having any reverb or anything like that. And just in case, actually, if you're wondering what it sounds like without any plugins, you can see I've got plugins on the drums. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy on them. Just use, like I said, the Steven Slate plugins, and it's just a virtual mix rack, which is pretty much just a little bit of EQing. So if I turn them all off, have a listen to them with them off. See, the plugins aren't really doing anything too crazy, just a little bit of EQing, just kind of making it a little bit nicer sounding, I suppose. So, if, for example, there's a kick drum and the snare drum with the plugins off. Let's turn them back on. So, on, off. Yeah, so not too much going on there, just a little bit of brightness maybe. Turn them back on. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not using a whole bunch of plugins to get the sound. I try to get the sound right first, and then just use the EQ and the plugins just to kind of sweeten them up a little bit and just make it a little bit more of what I'm kind of chasing, I guess. So I'll shut up here for a sec and we'll have a listen to it. There you go. So I think it sounds pretty good. And again, I haven't gone crazy with any microphones or anything. It's not like there's like a $5,000 microphone on the overheads or anything that's the secret weapon. I think if you got good cymbals, you got good drums, and you know how to play them, then the rest of it should be fairly easy, I suppose, once you work out all of your gain structures and all that sort of stuff. So if you go ahead and have a look up here in the session, nothing's going too crazy as far as it's not too loud. I try to keep all the waveforms around about the same sort of size. Maybe that snare bottom's a little bit too loud. So it's all just about that, I guess, and then kind of mixing it in and trying to, if you need to do any sort of processing on it afterwards, more to sort of fit the song, I suppose. So anyway, that's my drum sound. Hope you learnt something from it, and I might do some more of these because they're fun. Okay, thanks, I'm Sam. See ya.